Hello everyone, my name's Sean Woolley, Managing Director of Cloud9 Spain. The reason we're doing this video is that there were some changes to the mortgage laws in Spain in June of 2019. Very important changes which benefit all consumers. The most important thing is that the Spanish government insisted that the banks now have to pay for all of the setup charges of the mortgage. So traditionally, in the past, buyers would take on the responsibility of paying the stamp duty for the mortgage, the registry, the notary fees. All that has been abolished. So the banks now assume those costs. The only costs that are paid now in relation to the mortgage by the buyers are the valuation fee, which is normally a fixed fee of 300, 500 euros, and also the arrangement fee, which varies from bank to bank. Normally it's between 1–1.5%. In fact, having said that, there's one bank, La Caixa, one of the biggest banks in Spain, which is doing a zero cost mortgage. So they're also assuming those two costs, the valuation fee and the arrangement fee. So that's extraordinary in Spanish mortgage law, really, because up until now the buyers have always had to pay quite a hefty premium if they're going to get finance here. And what it's meant for a lot of buyers in the past is that they've looked at financing the purchase by maybe refinancing assets that they have in their home countries. Now it makes it a much more level playing field. And in fact, because the interest rates are so historically low here in Spain, it means that Spain has become one of the cheapest places and the best places to get finance on a property, which makes it very, very interesting. So they're the main changes that have taken place. There are a couple of other things as well that I need to tell you about. The first one is, and this will apply to buyers who come from non-Euro countries, you can now choose at the point at which your mortgage is granted, you can choose to repay those mortgage repayments in either euros or the currency of your home country. So, I'm not going to get into the pros and cons of that, but if you are, for instance, from the UK, you can decide at the point where your mortgage is granted that you would rather pay the repayments in sterling or in euros, and that rate, the exchange rate that they use, is fixed at the moment you take out your mortgage and lasts for the lifetime of the mortgage. Unfortunately, you can't chop and change depending on how things are going with the exchange rate, but it's something that all buyers should consider if they're not in the Eurozone. The second thing, and it's been a bit alarming, people have been saying that all buyers now need to take a test at the notary 10 days before completion of their property to convince the notary that they understand what sort of mortgage they're taking on, and they have to pass this written test. True and false. There is a test. It's been brought in by the government again to make sure that that buyers understand what they're getting themselves into. You know, we don't want people stretching themselves unnecessarily, but it's important that they understand the basics and the terms of the mortgage that they're being offered. So what happens is that, sure, within 10 days of completion, before completion, the buyer has to pass a test. They have to fill out a form which is just giving answers to 10 very simple questions about the product that they're taking out, and that is then signed off and given to the notary for their approval, and then the mortgages are finally approved and things go forward. Buyers think that they have to be physically present at the notary to do that. It's not necessary. If you have a power of attorney, which we've covered in another of our videos, if you have a power of attorney with your lawyer and you've given your lawyer the rights to sign things off on your behalf, you can also do the same with this test. So the lawyer will send you the test, advise you, obviously, if you have any questions about the test, and then they will present the answers to the notary on your behalf. There's no need for you to be there. But to set that up and to save yourself the hassle of going over to Spain to complete that, you need to set up a power of attorney with your lawyer. So quite exciting times for property buyers in Spain. Certainly things have swung in their favour, particularly in terms of the mortgage laws now being changed. There are no signs at the moment that the banks are going to try and claw money back by increasing the interest rates unnecessarily. Rates have been staying the same, historically low, as I said. Also, they're not allowed by Spanish law to charge you a whacking great early redemption fee to try and claw some of the costs back. No, that has to stay the same. I think it's 0.5% is the maximum they can charge. So the only way that they may react, and we're seeing signs of this already, is that up till now, the most really that a non-resident can borrow on a mortgage here in Spain is 60 to 70% of the value of the property, or the price of the property, whichever is the lower figure, unfortunately. And what we're finding now is that banks are being a little bit more cautious about who they're lending to. So we may find that the days of the 70% mortgage for non-residents, it starts to come down to maybe a maximum of 60, 65%. So we just have to be careful of that. What we're saying to our clients at the moment is that if you're going to get a mortgage for 60% here in Spain, then you really need to have 50% of the property price in cash or from other sources, because you need to cover obviously the remaining 40% that's non-mortgaged plus your buying costs, which are generally 10-11%. So we use a generic figure of around 50% that you need to have in cash reserves to buy the property. So if you have a property that you want to buy, it's 400,000 euros, and if you can get a 60% mortgage, then you're going to need about 50%. So you're going to need 200,000 euros of your own money to be able to make the deal happen. Anyway, that's the latest. That's from June 2019, and we hope this has been useful. If you've got any questions, drop me a line. My name is Sean Woolley. I'm the Managing Director of Cloud9 Spain.